Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's hit me up.
See you were telling me this. You've got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
Martial arts chat.
Hello and welcome to Martial Arts Chat Podcast live here on Spreaker.com, and on this episode we'll be reacting to last night's UFC 225. It took place in Chicago, Illinois, headlined by Romero versus Whittaker. We'll be reacting with the panel this evening and of course answering your fan questions. But before I continue, firstly a shout out to our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting-edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers, so local and national gyms in the UK. Do yourselves a favour, go check out a1fightgear.com. And if you want to get into shape, get back into shape, keep trimming the fat off, whatever your goals are, beast your goals at beastgear.co.uk and use the coupon code MartialArtsChat. You can save 15% off your purchases. They've got core sliders, straps and barbell pads, strength and conditioning programs, all to suit your needs, all at different levels. So coupon code MartialArtsChat will save you 15% there. So to my panel here this evening, first up it's my man Kobe from Kobes Korner. How you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, John. Looking forward to chopping up UFC 225 with you guys.
Pleasure, mate. And of course, my brother from another mother, from the Brains and Brown podcast, the one, the only, Miguel Rodriguez. Miguel, how you doing, mate?
All-American Steel and Twisted Sex Appeal, baby. Nerd Bash session is in tune. Let's go.
Love it, mate. Guys, a lot to get into, a lot of fan questions tonight as well. I'll get some reaction from you guys on a few of the fights, and then we'll get straight into answering those questions. Thanks so much to everyone who hit us up, and you can continue to hit us up during the live stream. We're on facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat, or if you want, just direct message me on Twitter, it's at Martial Arts Chat there as well. But let's start with the chick magnet, or Chicago made, is it? CM Punk. He basically got his arse handed to him by Mike the Truth Jackson. Let's hear the panel's reactions, and we'll start with Kobe on this one. Kobe, the Punk experiment is surely now just over, right?
Yeah, we all knew what was coming. I think that the UFC picked the closest thing they could as to a potential competitive opponent. But what I've been talking about for a long time with this fight, in fact, my podcast with Mike Jackson was rendered in March, and when you take a deep look at Mike Jackson's experience, it wasn't 0-1 versus 0-1, and that's how they sold it to us, to tell us that it was going to be more competitive, that CM Punk kind of had the same sort of experience as Mike Jackson, when in fact that was the quite opposite. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Mike Jackson's world class. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the best fighter in the world, but I can tell you that he has at least 10 fights under his belt, kickboxing, boxing, and mixed martial arts outside the UFC. So that means he has made the walk 10 times. He has cut weight 10 times. He has been in the ring or the cage 10 times. He had several knockout victories on the feet. So this guy had, against and next to CM Punk, a wealth of combat experience. And unless you're a phenom, unless you're John Jones or, say, Brock Lesnar, you're not going to walk into this sport and be competitive and win at this level with no experience. Watching CM Punk hit pads, and I mean, I wasn't super loud and vocal about it to where it was overcritical, but he doesn't turn his punches over. He looks like a guy that's 39 years old, who isn't all that athletic, who doesn't have much experience, that's learning, and that's it. And that's exactly what it is. At the same time, there were some victories for CM Punk here. He hit a takedown. He fought for 15 minutes in his second ever competitive fight. I mean, that's fantastic. So he should feel good about himself that he looked much better than the first fight. But coming into it, I really gave him no chance. And the way that they're dealing with Mike Jackson is surprising, in that they bring in this guy, essentially lose to Mickey Gall, a young guy that Dana White loves. And then they bring him in to fight CM Punk, and he kind of embarrasses him a little bit, plays around, lands a couple nice shots. Yeah, he milked the TV time. I'm going to say it now. Mike Jackson didn't try and finish that fight, but now Dana White wants nothing to do with him. It's an easy tie to cut right after that. Now he can just wash his hands of both guys. CM Punk can't go back to the amateurs. He would only be ready for some very low-level regional professional show. There is no point in him doing this. He's got to hang him up and find some gratitude and feel good about himself that he fought through some adversity. He hit a takedown. He landed 19 significant strikes, and he fought his heart out for 15 minutes.
Fair play, mate. I mean, you've got it in a nutshell. If ever the phrase "it is what it is" sums up CM Punk here, I mean, that was exactly it. But let's hear Miguel, Big Jackson, CM Punk. I mean, it looks like it's over for the both of them in the UFC. But give me your thoughts on all of this, mate.
I mean, a lot of people made a lot of money, but the circus is over. I mean, Kobe hit every piece you needed to hit, man. I don't really got even much to say about that fight because I feel like we just gave it way too much attention. I still don't understand. And you know what is crazy? That it took all of this for Dana White to really, like, hit in his face now. You see how Dana, all his reactions since yesterday.
So pissed.
Yeah. Like, I should have put that in prelims and this and that. Yeah. Like, oh, man, I was gonna swear all nasty, but I'm gonna hold my breath. But man, motherfucker, are you serious? Like, you didn't see this coming? What the hell, man? Like, everyone's been talking about this for months, for years since CM Punk came in the thing. What blows my mind is just everyone that's in line, man. I know a ton of mixed martial artists, and I know this is what everyone says, but I know a ton of mixed martial artists out there that are busting their ass day in and day out. Mm-hmm. And I got a guy like Kyle Stewart who's I think ranked number 1 right now in Flow Combat welterweight rankings. He's 10 fights straight, undefeated. He won the Contender Series in the last show. He was like plus 210, I think, underdog. Won the Contender Series. They didn't give him the contract, and now he's back in this next season for the Contender Series. And I just don't see how those guys aren't fighting, man, in the UFC. But you can give a guy that's 0-1 against a guy who's 0-1 a contract, and then to fight in the pay-per-view is. I felt like if I would have paid $59.99 for that pay-per-view yesterday, I would have felt like someone raped me because I'm paid $59.99 to watch an amateur fight. You know what I'm saying? I can go and watch an amateur local show here for $25 and be right in front of the cage, and get some blood on my T-shirt by the end of the night. Like, I don't get it, man. That to me was just, I literally didn't even watch most of the fight. I think I went downstairs, grabbed a beer and a shot like halfway during the fight because I just was like, I felt bad for CM Punk. I almost wanted to throw the towel for the poor guy, but I just, all the people that are sitting here talking this whole, we'll give it up to the guy, he's a warrior, this and that, man, come on. What do you mean? He was just getting beat up. Like, I guess anyone that goes in the cage and gets beat up is a warrior now. That's what I'm not buying. I'm not buying that whole, hey, give it up, he's a warrior, man. He went out there and fought for 15 minutes. And, I mean, I could go out there and get my ass whipped for 15 minutes. Does that make me a warrior?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. No,
and
100%.
I had this weird conspiracy. And listen to this conspiracy I got. This is for all the conspiracy theorists out there. Shout out, Flat Earth guys out there. I have this conspiracy that, dude, I swear that this guy took out like a $50,000 loan, gave it to one of his boys in Vegas, and told him to put it on him going to distance. Because that was so weird that he took it to distance. Why did he go to distance with CM Punk like that? I felt like he could have ended it whenever he wanted.
He could have, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he was kind of he was just dicking about, for want of a better phrase, like when he was in the guard, sort of rolling the hands and just shots to the body. And you were right about amateur hour there, Kobe, as well. I mean, Punk's in guard, he's got Jackson in guard, and he's throwing punches from the bottom. Oh yeah, he's clipping his shoulder, and like, I mean, I'm just kind of like, oh god, it was as cringy as Colby Covington's trash talk. I'll get to that later. Sorry, Miguel. I know you forgot what to say.
And I'm not trying to shoot guys down that always are asking, for help when they do those little videos and they do those little self videos of striking a bag and they're like, shoot me some, opinions or what you think and stuff. But it kind of looked like one of those guys who just kind of started working the bag and, his head's all over the place and his shoulders aren't like he just didn't even. He had no footing, no set footing. There's somebody else who was doing that was striking for the woman that I couldn't believe they had her in the UFC with that type of striking. The Battle Cat. You remember Battle Cat? What's her name? Oh, man, that's her nickname. I don't remember. Cindy the Battle Cat. Cindy Dendois. Oh, my God, bro. How do you let someone with striking like that in the UFC? I just don't understand because there's so many people that I know personally that could easily have way better striking than that and be in the UFC. Is it like just word of mouth, or they got to know someone to get there? Because he's not like someone that's going to sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do they get in the UFC? That's like my biggest question. How do they get this road so easy to the UFC, bro?
Cheddar makes it better, I guess. It's got to be money and influence. But anyway, let's move on, guys. We'll get to co-main event. RDA, Colby Covington. Covington takes the interim title, and he's taking it all the way to the White House, apparently. The cringerous did he stop there? If anyone's seen that post-fight interview with Michael Bisping, good God. Let's start with Miguel on this one, because Miguel, I know you're a big fan of the guy. This fight, was it everything you expected and more, mate?
Let me first start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to America. I pledge allegiance to this flag of the United States. It's 3 p.m. here in Chicago, and I'm going to take a shot to this real quick. And I'm not a degenerate for drinking right now, but this is for Colby Covington in the fight last night, because that was amazing. For the 35 people that were standing up, and the United Center was probably filled with, I mean, we were at capacity last night. It was amazing. Brilliant. For the 35 people that were standing and running around, screaming and sweating and jumping after he won with me, I just want to take the shot to everybody, because that was amazing. Everyone was doubting us from the beginning of the fight. They were laughing at us from the beginning of the show. From Wednesday when I got to the open workouts and I was cheering Nerd Bash 2018 walking up in the line, everyone was laughing at us, talking about first round knockout domination from RDA. I told everyone that it was going to be a grind out. I honestly thought it would be like he would catch him, because RDA did come in way too emotional. And I think that affected him during the whole fight too. I think we've seen a lot of it where he just couldn't even get off. You know, I thought, you know what, man? After the first round, I was a little nervous. I thought Colby looked a little tired for some reason. He was breathing hard, but then it just came back with that second win. Kind of like when Conor McGregor came back in that 4th round versus Nate Diaz, or in the 5th round, I think it was, when he just came back with that second win. Colby just came back with that second win, and it just never ended. The relentless pressure was amazing. It was 5 rounds of relentless pressure. And there's this guy that was saying that he had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. And I just can't believe how you could have it 2-2 going into the 5th round. That's not even being completely biased, because I'm completely biased as shit. I'll tell you right now. But I don't know how you could have it 2-2 going into the 5th round when this guy, he was telling me that the octagon control doesn't matter. I was like, it's not just octagon control. It's the fact that he's coming so fucking straight towards RDA that he wasn't letting RDA get off what he needed to do. His combos were getting off. And the exchanges. Let's talk about the exchanges, guys, because people kept telling me that RDA was hitting him harder. I think that Colby was winning the exchanges. What do you think about the exchanges? Just answer me that.
I've got to preface by saying that the exchanges bared little significance on the result, but I think the exchanges were few and far between, and the ones that they were, Colby Covington won them. But I've got to say that what the real game changer was the pressure and the wrestling of Colby Covington. That was a difference maker. But if you're talking about striking exchanges, they were few and far between, and so the ones that Colby did win, they paled in comparison to a judge's decision, I would think.
So why did everyone doubt him so much with his wrestling? Is what I didn't understand. And RDA is no joke, man. It's not like he was just like wrestle fucking him. You know what I'm saying? Because even Khabib had a hard time taking him. He still took down RDA hardcore when they fought, but he didn't take him down with ease. Like RDA is not that easy to get taken down. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the way that Colby had to fight that man. And now with this Woodley talk, like I don't even want to talk about Woodley, because they're not even going to let Colby enjoy this fight. They're already talking about Woodley. All this shit talk about how RDA was going to demolish Colby. Now Colby wins, and now they're just like letting this one fly right over their head and get straight to Woodley. This is why Colby's getting away with winning his fights and not getting the recognition that he should, man, because people keep just letting it fly right over his head, right over their head. That okay, to the next one. And then when he proves them wrong again, it's like to the next one. And they're not giving him recognition for this fight. I mean, I think that was huge. RDA was in prime form, whipping everybody's ass. Yeah, looking amazing at 170.
Yeah, definitely. Colby, give me your thoughts on this co-main event, RDA versus Colby Covington and you, interim champ.
I think you made a really good point, John, when you went to the effective wrestling, because I mean we can look at the striking, but I think ultimately the judges scored this fight based on the effective striking and then the effective wrestling. If you look at the striking in itself, RDA was much more efficient. He was a +6 in terms of significant strikes, a -12 in terms of total strikes, a lot more efficient with the total strikes. But the difference was the wrestling. Colby was 2 of 4 on the takedown in round 1, 2 of 3 of the takedown in round 2, 1 of 2 in 4, and 2 of 6 in 5. So he was 7 of 18 on the takedown for 38%. Those are great numbers. So in the event you have close striking like we did in this fight, and it was close, and yeah, there's lots of an argument there for Colby winning some of those exchanges for sure. But the difference was the takedown, except for in round 4, where RDA went 3 of 4 and was a +7 in terms of the significant strikes and was twice as efficient. So I think RDA won round 4, but Colby definitely won this fight. And I really stayed away from a pick or going. I was kind of like a fade to me in terms of a breakdown. I was like, there's no way I'm counting Colby out of this fight. Last thing I'll say is I think it was on Miguel's timeline. They were talking about the fight, and one of his friends said, I think Colby's a better wrestler grappler. He said grappler, and I said, why? And he started explaining himself almost like on the defensive. And I'm like, no. I'm not shooting down your opinion. I just want to understand your thinking. In the end, he was right. Colby, was the stronger grappler, and he was the stronger wrestler in this fight. And that's why he's the interim champ.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's. I heard a couple of people, I was going to say piss in the morning. That's too strong a phrase. A couple of grumblings that it was a shocking decision. I don't know. I just don't know what fight they were watching. There was nothing shocking about it. Even RDA probably knew that the decision was not his. So good call by the judges.
John, brother, his head was down. His head was down. His chin was down. He knew he lost. In that picture that I posted with him getting the belt wrapped around his waist, RDA knew he lost. And like I said, there's a guy who had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. I still don't understand that because I thought he was clearly at least had the 1, 2, 3. So like if RDA won the 4th one, you know what I'm saying? At least I seen him go the first 3. Other than that, man, the reaction from the crowd and everything in Chicago was awesome. One of the biggest ovations of the night was the booing from Colby Covington, and it wasn't even from people cheering; it was from booing, and it was Colby Covington, which blew my mind. But the line is another thing that I started noticing from Vegas. He started at a +100 when I first took him, and he went from a +100 to -140 with 72% of the money going to RDA. 72% of the public was taking RDA. With that said, why the hell would the Vegas take his line down when he's the favorite? You know what I'm saying? When the people are putting his money on RDA, that's why I knew that Vegas knew that something was up. And even Vegas was taking Colby Covington. And even Donald Trump was taking Colby Covington. We all made money last night. I did a last-minute $300 bet on Colby right before the fight because I had him in a bunch of parlays. And, man, it was awesome.
That's it, mate. Well played. Gentlemen, let's look at the main event. Now, on our prediction show, I said that Yoel might struggle to make weight and therefore miss out on a title shot. But I did expect him to get the job done against Whittaker, and I still think that's the case, by the way. I'm not convinced that the correct decision was made here in the main event by the judges. It was Romero win for me, but let's hear the panel's thought before we go into the fan questions. I'll start with Miguel this time. Miguel, how did you score the fight? And also, your thoughts on the weight cutting controversy, because I know you were there, mate. What was going on?
They didn't give him a full. I guess you'd get the 2 hours, right, to make your weight. He came back. The first one was 186, I think, when he went to weigh in the first time. And then the second one was 182 or 185.2, so 2 ounces over. I don't know. I don't even want to talk. I'm another conspiracy here. No, I'm just playing. I don't know, man. I don't know about the weight issue. I don't know how they just didn't let him. He says that they didn't give him an extra hour. I don't know how that works. I thought you only got 1 hour. They say you get 2 hours to come back.
I guess, and it was the first time I heard about it. But I guess that's how it works.
So what I was hearing from a bunch of the guys and the coaches were telling me that I guess they cut him short. The Chicago Commission only gave him an hour, and so I mean, in 1 hour he cut 0.6 ounces. So if he would have got that other hour, he would have cut that 0.2 no problem. So I don't understand. That's what's weird to me. I don't understand how Dana or any of them didn't come in and say, whoa, well, we usually get 2 hours to weigh in so he can make that extra 0.2. And so to me, it's weird, John. Myself, I don't know how that all went with the whole thing. I scored it 3-4-5 to Romero with a possible, because I seen a couple 10-8s there. I mean, I don't know. I seen a 10-8 and was it the fifth round. He almost
knocked him
finished him
down.
twice.
Knocked him down. Almost finished him. Exactly.
In the third and the fifth. So this is another. If you're gonna score the fight for Ty when Ty beat Arlovsky, if you're gonna give it to Ty, how are you not gonna give that fight to Romero?
Exactly, mate.
You know what I mean? Because he knocked him down twice. I think a total of 3 times and almost finished him twice in the third and the fifth. I thought he had the round 3, 4, 5, and 1 and 2. It's almost like he gave those rounds. He gave 1 and 2 because because remember last fight he went balls out in round 1 and 2, and then by round 4 he was already done. So this one he did it different. He's like, I'm gonna just lose round 1 and 2, and then as soon as round 3 started, he started throwing bangers, and that's when he caught him.
Yep.
I don't know, man. At the very least, John, at least a draw. At least a draw. I was shouting draw the whole time, like, oh, they're gonna give us a draw and just fuck everybody.
You thought it was gonna happen? Yeah.
No, they really just gave it to Whittaker.
I mean, I guess the consequences would have been Whittaker retained no matter what was happening. But the fact that, like you said, he got put in his arse and almost finished, that's got to count for something, right? And it's
so if they give it to Romero, if say Romero would have won or even finished him, do we have to make a third fight, right? The best out of 3, and this time give him another shot to make weight, because it's not like he showed up fucking Mackenzie Dern style and showed up a whole other weight class. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't show up above another weight class. That's crazy. They're letting this girl fight a whole nother weight class.
Yeah, he didn't show up with that.
Yeah, so if he would have knocked him out or say even won the fight, I would have been cool with a third fight, right? I would have been cool. That was an amazing fight.
Joe Rogan wanted it. He wanted a rubber match. That was the first thing he said when he put his arm around Whittaker. What do you think about that rubber match? The guy was like, I broke my hand. What do you want from me? I love the Mackenzie stuff.
I need to watch the event with the commentary, because it's the one thing watching it there and not watching it with commentary, you know? There were so many times when I was watching the fight and I'm like, I wonder what they're saying right now at this very moment. Like,
some of our fan questions will cover that. You'll get to know that pretty soon, mate. But I know you mean it's weird seeing it live and not hearing the usual voices in your ear. But finally, Kobe, before we move on to fan questions, give me your thoughts on the main event and Whittaker retaining, mate.
Do you want? Will you have like fan questions in regard to the scoring that should be saved, or do you want to do this all at once? Like, what's the better breakdown for you? I mean, there's a lot to this, right? And if you're going to talk about the scorecards and the fan questions, I'll save that part.
A lot of the fan questions, I guess, are about judges' decisions and whether we should be, testing or assessing judges on their decisions. But you go for it, man. Fill your bits.
Okay, I'll just talk a little bit about the fight itself, and I'll touch on the scorecards. I think if you don't score these rounds 10-8, and I did a pretty comprehensive study and breakdown of what that means today, other fights where we've seen what is a new in 10-8 under the new unified rules and the language that they use. The smoking gun in this fight is round 4, because when you see scorecards that are all over the place and they're all different, that's when you know there's a real problem. Here there wasn't. It was everybody felt that Yoel won rounds 3 and 5. Whittaker was 1 and 5. And then it was round 4. 2 judges gave it to Whittaker. 1 gave it to Romero. So for me, the smoking gun is round 4, not 3 or 5. And in the event of a split decision, it can go either way. Would I have been angry or upset to see Yoel have his hand raised? No, I would not have. Did I feel that Whittaker did enough through 3 and 3 of 5? Yeah, sure. That's the way that I scored it, was 3 rounds to 2. It was a great fight. I don't hold any ill will towards Yoel Romero for missing the weight. He's 41 years old. The way that he's fighting at this advanced age, we have never seen, and we probably will never see again. Randy Couture was not fighting at this level at 41 years old. And here's the difference, and Miguel touched it. There have been fighters, they were 7 of 7 coming into last night on missing weight and winning. That metric now moves to 7 and 8. They come in here 4 or 5 pounds plus over, and I'm done. Yoel Romero went out on his shield. Like, he was carried away from the weight cutting area or the sauna. Like, he did everything humanly possible to make weight. Both of them left it all out there in the octagon. The controversy comes because of the commentary, again, at the end of the fight, changing their tune, changing their narrative. We're going to talk about this soon, but the Kool-Aid about the 10-8 is why we're all over this today. And it's amazing what pressure that they put on the fans and how they script that narrative after and how they keep us talking about these fights. They have a lot more power than we think.
Definitely. Final part of the show, guys, and my favourite is answering fan questions. And joining us at this time to help us out is Mr. Bob Carson, Carson's Corner podcast. Bob, how are you, sir?
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me, John. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's all ours, buddy.
Bob, the man is in town, baby.
What's up, brother? What's up, man?
What's up, my man?
We'll remind you guys of the one rule. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Just you don't need to wait your turn. Just the floor is yours, guys. So when you're ready, gentlemen, we'll start with just one from Facebook this week, and it's Chris Julesrud. Chris Julesrud, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, mate. He says, when do we finally say it's time to start training judges and or have a testing policy to be an eligible judge, because it's now getting out of hand? I guess he's not happy with that.
Yesterday, last week, last month, last year. We should have been doing this a long time ago. We should have opened a school. We need to start opening schools for this stuff, man. I don't know what's going on. I need a booklet. I need an instruction manual. I need a whole documentary series on how you judge a fight and what they're being taught on how to judge a fight. Because I think that everyone's got their own mindset of how they judge their own fights. Everyone does. Every fan you talk to, every person you talk to has a completely different outlook. And not just an experienced mixed martial artists, not just people who've just started watching MMA yesterday or started watching it 20 years ago or been training for 40 years. Every person who I've come across and sat down and spoken about MMA with has just a whole different way that they judge fights, and it's crazy because some of them will blow your mind, and sometimes it's a guy who's been doing it 30 years, and you're like, dude, how can you see that fight still going, like 2-2, like yesterday, how I'm talking about. There's a guy who I respect for in mixed martial arts, and he legit thought that RDA won that fight yesterday, and I just didn't know how you would give that to RDA. And you know how biased I am towards Kobe, but that's what I'm saying with that. We need to find out how this is all really done and like a manual to it, because I think these judges are judging it however they think it goes, right? So it's not even like a legit stipulation. It's really up to them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think wasn't Big John McCarthy trying to go around the country and working with different commissions to try to establish a way for these judges to score the fights? I mean, look, prior to last night, I'll be honest with you. I mean, my opinion on this was, okay, judges are human. You're going to have bad decisions. That's inevitable. Just like, referees are human, and sometimes they're going to make mistakes and whatnot. But last night I thought was really, really egregious with some of the judging there. I thought it started in the prelims with the Claudia Gadelha Carla Esparza fight. I mean, it wasn't a robbery, but I thought it was a bad decision. And then certainly I disagreed with the main event, Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker. We need to have uniformity amongst the commissions. We need to weigh, certain techniques as more valuable than other techniques. Defense versus offense. Cage control. All these different criteria have to be, pretty much the same across all commissions in order for the judges to properly score these fights. I mean, we're training referees. We're cultivating referees. We should be doing the same with judges, having workshops and having these judges. Some of these are boxing judges too. Adelaide Bird, other judges that have been boxing judges for years, and now they're judging MMA contests. That's got to stop. We got to create uniformity all across the board.
The biggest thing for me, and I've spent a lot of time studying the scoring, the new scoring, the criteria. This is the 10-point must system has been adopted. And like Bob said, I mean, we have new judges coming over from the boxing world. But think for a minute about how this is compartmentalized, right? You have it's effective striking first, and only if you see a fighter, if it's that close, razor close, and you can't decide a winner based on the effective striking, only then do you move to the effective wrestling. Same thing, only if it's right down the middle, then we're going to move to effective aggression, then we're going to move to ring control. Like these judges are human. When you're watching a fight and you're seeing wrestling, you're seeing grappling, you're seeing striking, you're seeing aggression, you're seeing one guy pushing forward, one guy counter striking, moving backward. They don't give enough credit to take down defense, in my opinion. But it's impossible to put these things in compartments and hold them off to the side and not allow them all to filter into each other. Because essentially, in any one fight, you're looking at all four criterias. So how can you be asked logically and realistically to separate them and not consider the next one when they all fall into one another? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. All facets of the game, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. One it's just come in from Facebook from Ross Markey, who asks, if Romero goes to light heavyweight, how does he succeed against the likes of Gustafsson or the Latifis of the division? Big boys there.
He does the same. I think Romero is a force to be reckoned with in any division, despite the fact that at 205 you've got guys that are 6'4" and 6'5". But it doesn't matter. I think Romero can knock at anybody and take down anybody. He's just really a freak of nature. I don't want to see him go up, but he may have to go up, because if Robert Whittaker is theoretically 2-0 versus Yoel Romero, where is he going to go? What's going to happen in the middleweight division? Are there other matchups in that division? He's pretty much fought everybody in middleweight, so he may have to go up to 205, but he's going to be a force if he goes up to 205 as well. And he won't have to cut weight too, right? So that's a big thing too. So he won't have to cut weight.
He can eat all the Cuban sandwiches he wants, my boy.
Exactly, mate. Let's move on to Twitter. We've got @GE3, who says, Meg Jackson, what a saddle sniffer. Him and his black power tattoo, what knob cheese. That's not a question, mate, but thanks very much. I'll just move on.
Oh, great.
Moving on. Forked Font says, Rogan wants to be like Yoel. The man crush is embarrassing and the bias is shameful. Ruins his otherwise awesome podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Let me tell you real quick. Before we really got into 5, and I broke it down minute by minute. I've watched that round 3 times today. I've picked it apart with a microscope. He said, it's really hard for us to sit here and accurately judge and assess these fights based on what's going on. That was his assessment of the situation before the fight ended. Then as soon as it was over, they all started with the 10-8 stuff. Even John Anik jumped in, possibly a 10-7. Right? Give me a break. Give me a break. Now you got John Anik drinking the Kool-Aid? Like, are you kidding me? What is the one quote here? Listen to what Rogan said. Yoel is one of the best representations of genetics that the human race has ever known. He said this while he was fighting. Like he said it while
he was masturbating. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, I love Yoel too. I want to.
Me too, man.
Crack a fucking egg on his fucking chest and say you're fucking yolk, my man.
He's the man. He is the man. Let's move on. On Twitter, @Justin Kovac, who says Curtis Blades, should get to fight the winner of Ngannou versus Lewis. The winner gets a title shot at the end of the year. Good call, my man. Good call.
Hey, this is Kovac. This one, Chi-Town, brother. Curtis Blades. I told everybody. What did I say, John? I said this at the very beginning of the year that Curtis Blades would be a champion by the end of 2018. If this all happens, they would have kind of set this up for him to kind of be the champion at the beginning of 2019. Because if he wins his next fight, he would get possible time. It wouldn't happen until like 2019, right?
Okay.
Let's get to. But pretty much this sets up a possible being a heavyweight champion the next year. And I think, man, he could get it done. I really do, man. I really do. His striking is getting better and better by the day. And his wrestling, I think, is the top wrestling in the heavyweight division without a doubt. I think he can take down anybody because of the way he disguises his takedowns with his with his like unorthodox, weird striking, because it's not considered like beautiful boxing. It's like a weird level change boxing that he doesn't even. I don't even think he knows what it is yet. But it's a beauty, man. I love everything about the guy. And if you stand next to him, he's just a mountain of a man. Like, he's just a mountain, bro. And he can take a punch. That's one thing he's taught us time and time again, that the man can take a punch. He can take a knee. He can take a punch. And no one has finished him. Ngannou, the only way Ngannou finished him was what the ref had to stop it. But the guy would have went. I think yesterday his eye was just as bad as Romero's eye was yesterday. Romero was fighting one eye after the second round.
Looked bad. Oh, the corner did a good job, I wouldn't say, but it looked really bad when he went to sit on the stool.
They should have did that Apocalypto thing to him, where they just sliced him. Remember the movie Apocalypto, where they just sliced his...
Never saw that one. What happened? What did they do? Slice his eye open? Spoiler alert.
It's an old school movie. Like back in the Mayan and Aztec days, if you had a big welt, they would just slice it so the blood would just come out. They would like let you see again. Yeah, just an ancient tactic. Primal.
I think that's what they call it. Yeah, primal. Let's move on then. At Else for Elf says, I'm calling it now. Colby Covington is going to be the best thing to happen to Tyron Woodley's career. He needs an opponent who's unlikable to boost his relationship with the fan base, and after some, let's say, uneventful performances of late. What do you think?
You know, I got to tell you, I have a lot more respect for Covington after last night than I did previously. I've been very critical of his shtick. I thought. And I think to a certain extent it's contrived. He tries a little bit too hard and whatnot, but you can't say that he didn't back it up, and he doesn't back it up. He clearly won that fight against RDA. He put out a cardio output that was virtually unmatched. He's 14-1 now. He hasn't lost in some time. His only loss was to Ali Warves
Worley
versus
Alves,
Worley Alves via guillotine choke, I believe. And he's the perfect guy to go against Woodley, because if you listen to some of his post-fight interviews last night, he's already starting to throw in the Donald Trump. He's already starting to throw in and call Tyron Woodley a race baiter and whatnot. So you're going to have that element of promotion in a match versus Tyron Woodley, and he wants to fight in Madison Square Garden. I think that would be very, very good, and I think that would be almost like a toss-up fight. I really think that would be a very, very close fight. So there's no question, Colby Covington is on the rise. You got to give him credit, even if you don't like some of the things he says and some of the shtick and some of the heel WWE-esque type stuff.
John, can we all touch this one? Because I really want to hear your take and Kobe's take on this one. This is a beautiful little comment here, because I honestly think that this dude, not only is he on the rise, man, but I want to hear Kobe's take. Can I hear Kobe's take? Because I love listening to Kobe's take. And
Kobe, let's hear it, brother.
I want to hear Kobe's take on this question.
On the fans and Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley. Is that where we are?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, somebody sent me something.
Repeat the comment for us, John.
So Else for Elf is saying Colby Covington is going to be the best thing to happen to Tyron Woodley. She's essentially saying that Tyron Woodley has now went from unlikable to lovable, given who his opponent is, who his adversary is. Do you buy into that?
Before you say anything, Colby, I think that this is going to be Woodley's finally going to get the pay-per-view buys he's been looking for. That's all I'm saying. Now
I believe that.
I think she's right in that, like Miguel said, he will get the most pay-per-view buys, and that's what he's been looking for. I think that's correct. But with trash talk and with this brash kind of outgoing personality, when you start backing up what you're saying, people start paying attention, and guess what? They start liking you. And after last night, the Colby Covington wagon and train is going to be rolling, and people are going to be clasping onto the sides, grasping on, jumping on. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when Conor McGregor started to back up what he was saying, that's when people really started to follow. Sure. He brings a personality, he brings humor, he brings edge. You may not like it, you may love it, you may hate it. You're going to watch. That's at least my perception. So, Tyron Woodley could find himself in a place by the end of this where he's actually disliked, either as present day or worse, with the Colby Covington train growing. And I think after last night, he's riding hot right now. He's got to feel good about where he's at.
Yeah, he's got all the momentum, and I agree that he's backing it up. But the comparison with Conor McGregor, I've got to disagree with you there, brother, because Conor McGregor's trash talk is on another level to a lot of guys. But he finished almost all of his opponents. You know, it's all well and good in saying that Colby Covington gets the W here, but Conor McGregor sparked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference between that and getting a decision over one RDA. But I'm all aboard for it, man. I hear people bitching and moaning about Colby Covington, and I'm just like, get over yourself. The way I look at it, Tyron Woodley's due an adversary because he's been playing this safe game. Given his opponents, the matchmaking hasn't helped. You know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he countered the counter striker, and Damian Maia, he was going to wait until he shot and just stuffed all those takedowns. He didn't want to get taken down by that guy. So this fight's going to make for all kinds of interesting, whether it's cringy trash talk or two solid wrestlers. Let's be honest, and we'll see who gets the better of that exchange.
Don't get me wrong, John. You know, Conor McGregor is always going to be my king. There's a reason why I got a 4-leaf clover tattooed on my ass.
John, just so you know, like, I'm not comparing careers. I'm just comparing people starting to buy into, okay, well, you know what? Maybe there is something to this guy because he's getting the job done. And no, he is not finished. That said, he's gold around his waist, and he will fight to unify those belts.
Absolutely. There you have it, guys. UFC 225, it's in the books, and what an amazing night of fix. And we'll be back next week to speak with Catch Wrestling legend Eric Paulson. I'm so pumped for that, I can't wait. But in the meantime, let me extend my thanks to the panel here today on the podcast, starting with Kobe. Kobe, let our people know where to check you out, Kobe's Corner, all that good stuff. Let our listeners know, mate.
You can find me on Twitter at Kobes_Korner, corner with the K, or on YouTube, type in Kobe's Corner. I also have a second channel with UFC highlights video, and I do breakdown over top. You can find me there. Thank you so much for having me. Bob, it's a pity we didn't get to talk longer. I would have appreciated hearing your thoughts a great deal on UFC 225, but thank you. And Miguel, it's a pleasure as always, brother.
Always a pleasure from Miguel, man. I love you, my brother from another mother. Miguel, let our listeners know about Brains and Broadcasts and all the great stuff that you do online as well, mate.
I just want to say I love all you guys, man. It's one of my favorite panels to be around. You guys are just like Knights of the Round Table. I love you guys every single time. One of my favorite shows. John, thank you for everything. It's always a pleasure to be around you. Kobe, you already know how I feel about you. I got like a man crush on Kobe. I was going to say this earlier, but you guys need to follow his fans page. You guys need to follow these guys talk. I can sit there and listen to him like it's a fucking poem being read into my ears all day long. This guy speaks with knowledge. His verbiage is amazing. And it's down to the fucking little gritty good shit that you need to listen to nowadays. Because all these people that try to talk, and sometimes I could go off into like a rant, but you just do it the right way, brother. It's beautiful, man. I love every part about it. Bob, you already know how I feel about you, brother. Shout outs all the time to my man, Bob. I love being on the line with you. Brains and Brawn, you can find me anywhere, man. I'm up and anywhere. I always say you can find me even in your mom's basement sometimes. Now I'm just playing. But yeah, I'm everywhere, bro. I'm fucking Brains and Brawn. You know what? Just follow me on my Facebook and Brains and Brawn MMA, because that's usually where I post everything. And I got a lot of things coming up right now for Brains and Brawn. I'm switching up my whole panel myself for my co-hosts and everything. We're getting it all set up. So it's a blessing to be on with you guys. And thank you for everything. Shout out to Chicago and the beautiful car and everything that they pulled for us. And thank you to Chicago for showing up, man. We needed that. Now hopefully we get some bigger cards out here. And Nerd Bash 2018's in session. We're going to the White House.
Finally to Bob Carson. Bob, a pleasure as always. Let the Martial Arts Chat listeners know. Clue them up on Carson's Corner, my friend.
Yeah, thank you again to the panel members, Kobe and Miguel. I value your work. I check out your work. I encourage everybody to check out what you guys do. Again, I appreciate being on the panel with you guys. You could check my podcast out on Blog Talk Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Carson's Corner. If you want to friend me on Facebook, facebook.com/Carson's Corner, and Twitter as well, twitter.com/Bob Carson MMA. And big thanks to you, John Boy, for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. It's been a while since I've been on the program, and I look forward to speaking to you and you guys in the future.
Pleasure as always, sir. If you like this podcast, subscribe to us on iTunes by searching for Martial Arts Chat. Find us on Twitter at Martial Arts Chat. And of course, you can find us on Facebook at, you guessed it, facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.